Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
At the end of the game, the defense looked pretty fresh.
I was just sitting here waiting to just chime in with that because it's something I haven't pointed out. No, there's no way you could have known, Fred.
All of a sudden, I hear Paul's voice asking a question at a press conference. I was like, is that Paul? I did a double take.
The boycott is over.
Yeah.
Right in.
Yeah.
Boycott.
You said you're done with that.
I never said that.
I thought
I'm trying to be cordial.
I thought there was
There's no boycott.
I thought there was a D'Angelo sub.
That's ridiculous.
Statement going on. Please bring back 3 points by Perillo. What was 3
Remember
points
those?
by Perillo?
See, you two don't know. You know, someday I'll tell you how important I used to be. Started with 5 points from Perillo.
Too many points.
Budget cuts me and cut us down to 3. Yeah.
In the fourth, we get a kick return, touchdown, a pick, and a sack.
Yep.
And what do Paulie and Deuce do? Toss a wet blanket on the whole thing. Fellas, come on. We get it. Improvements needed, blah, blah, blah. But we won.
That's ridiculous. Stop reading because I'm angry. This email is angering me.
I know. We need to know the entomology.
Okay, I'll look it up. I'll tell you tomorrow. It's the same play.
Etymology, please.
Good word. Did I get that right?
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium. It's Deuce, Paul, Evan, myself getting ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. We're also getting ready for the Julien Edelman and Bill Parcells Patriots Hall of Fame induction on Saturday. So it's a big weekend here at Gillette Stadium and big show today.
Show today.
Deuce, you got your brunt 3/4 zip on. Good for you.
Represent.
Good for you.
Yeah. It's getting to be quarter zip weather. 3/4, quarter zip.
Yeah.
Q-zip weather. I think it's the first time.
Paul's got his 98.5 shirt that he's going to be wearing today when he goes on.
Just a golf shirt.
I know, but you got to look good for 98.5.
Yeah. Got to get to the bottom of all
Can't
these
be wearing
game
that
balls.
Northeastern stuff on 98.5. Wear that here.
What, you think I never won? You think I never dug a hole before? Think I never wear my Northeastern stuff on 98.5?
All right. So what do we got? We're going to be, oh, by the way, we'll be going to Vrabel live when he starts at about 12:55.
Yeah. Well, we're going to hear from Stephon Diggs in the locker room today, of course, and I think everyone wants to know.
Big news.
Talk about him and Cardi B expecting big news.
I hope he agrees with her assessment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I assume that they'll be asking. I assume that they'll be asking him about it in the locker room.
Yeah.
Somebody will. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'll get in there with the mic and we'll get the answers. We'll get the answers we need. People,
Fred Kirsch has done the impossible. He's silenced Paul Perillo. I'm out of this one.
It's just, this is, I don't know what's going on here. I thought they were broken up.
I don't know.
Now they're back together. She said she's coming to all the games. I don't know.
Thinks about Brazilian butt lifts. I don't know what's going on.
It
seems complicated.
I just hope these kids can work it out. All right, but on to football. I was watching the Twitter today, and one of Evan's guys, Dan Orlovsky, had a very good breakdown of how when teams run at or away from Watt, how much better the numbers are when they run away from him.
Yeah.
Like they average around 2+ yards a carry running at him and over 6 yards a carry running away from him. And it's a good sample size out of 2 games. It's like 13 carries at him, 34 or so carries away from him. Yeah. So it's not like they only ran a couple times away from him and had good results.
And maybe,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe even more tempting with Alex Highsmith out with a high ankle sprain. So, might be rookie Jack Sawyer over there playing a little bit as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm having a tough time getting a beat on this Pittsburgh team. I don't know why. Like, they kind of do what they do, and they got their guys that they've had, but injuries and I don't know. There's just something I can't quite put my finger on it where I feel like I know what team this is right now. I don't know if that sounds weird, but maybe it's because my computer didn't work all morning.
It's because they're better on paper than what they've played in the first 2 weeks.
That's probably what it is.
Defensively.
I didn't realize all those guys were out, to be honest with you. So I feel like I was really I was taken aback. No, because I was just like everybody else. It's like, they're not really stopping anything. I mean, guys are throwing on them. Guys are running on them. Two teams in 2 weeks have scored 30 points. I know some of that was not necessarily defense related. But then I'm reading, and they're missing 2 guys in the secondary for both games. Highsmith played 10 plays the other day. He was replaced by Herbig, I think. The rookie defensive lineman hasn't played yet. Harmon. So that's like 5 starters that they haven't had for the bulk of the 2 games. So now I can more readily understand why they're giving up so much yardage. And I was looking at the run stuff with Seattle, and it's like Kenneth Walker dominated them, and Zach Charbonnet couldn't do a thing.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that? I think Charbonnet had something like 10 carries for 15 yards, and then Walker had the same amount of carries for 100 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
We were talking about that on Catch 22 because I noticed the same thing. Walker averaged 8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And Charbonnet couldn't do anything. But I think the main reason for that is that they were running so much outside zone, and Charbonnet is just a big power running back, that he wants to get downhill and run right at you, whereas Walker's got a lot
so
of
you're
speed.
telling me it's a Travion Henderson game?
Well, that was sort of my takeaway from it, and not to pick on Ramondre after he just had a great game on Sunday.
No.
But Gibson and Travion Henderson definitely are more in the mold of a Kenneth Walker than Ramondre is. And to Fred's stat about running away from TJ Watt, who typically lines up over the right side, if you run outside zone left and you get the edge on the left side against their backups over there on the left side, that was how Seattle ran the ball on Sunday with Walker. So that's kind of been the book right now on the Steelers. And to bring it back to one of Paul's shows, week 1 they ran away from Max Crosby the entire game, and everybody was up in arms that they only ran it left. And they were predictable. They're only running it left. And now the stats are telling you to run away from TJ Watt, which means another game where they should be only running left. So if they only run left on Sunday, this is why. It's because Watt is on the right side and they're trying to run away from him.
But then, it gets to that, cat and mouse game where, okay, the Steelers know what everyone else knows about that. You assume they're going to make adjustments. Because when I looked at the tape, when Orlovsky was talking about it, they were, their defense was gearing up for the other team to run toward Watt. It was aren't you going to adjust here?
Well, because there was a strong side of the formation. So
right.
They were putting the tight ends over on
and then
Watt's
they're running
side,
against that. Right.
Side of the formation.
Right.
Yeah.
So what adjustments is Pittsburgh going to make? And I would imagine that it's going to declare early.
Well, I'd say there were a couple of tweets this morning pointing to say, lamenting that Mike Tomlin doesn't adjust enough and doesn't do enough with his scheme and just, kind of allows his players to, try to make plays. And, maybe that's part of the confusion for me is when I see, Jalen Ramsey and, Watt and et cetera, those guys.
Cameron Hayward.
Yeah, Cameron Hayward. You just think these guys are always going to be in for a dogfight. And I think I always felt that way generally going into the Steeler game, and then Brady would just unleash an aerial assault upon them. So I don't know.
So that is one thing that kind of worries me. Their run defense is, we guys just talked about it. Cameron Hayward basically took the summer off, so maybe he's going to be a little bit more ready. With a couple of games under his belt, maybe he's a little bit more in shape.
I don't know. He was awesome on Sunday anyways.
He made a play in that game that was just unbelievable individual effort on a 4th down that he basically created a turnover all by himself. It was amazing. But maybe that might be part of the problem with their problems up front. Because they usually, even when the Patriots used to shred them, they were tough to run against for the most part. It was Brady just picking them apart and then doing what you said, Mike, and not adjusting because we do what we do.
Right.
That's great when Brady's out there and he's just killing you.
It is an element of this game, though, that's on my mind is the institutional knowledge that Josh McDaniels has of Mike Tomlin and the Steelers defense. And every time a Belichick disciple coach has coached against the Steelers defense, the Patriots have had some success offensively. Even Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi had success against the Steelers, in 22 and 23. So I think that that's a big part of this. And then on the other side of the ball, Arthur Smith is the coordinator for the Steelers on offense, and that's Mike Vrabel's old offensive coordinator.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of knowledge of the coaching staff here from a Patriots standpoint that, as we go here, I feel like that's going to be a real advantage for them with game planning. Is Vrabel and McDaniels have a lot of experience, and they have faced all of these coaches in the league before, and this is another one of those matchups.
I'm going to do the thing I was accused of yesterday. I'm going to do the Eeyore thing.
Oh,
Vrabel is 0-3 against Pittsburgh, though, as a coach. Because he was
stat.
undefeated against Tua, and that worked out. He continued. He's 3-0 now against Miami with Tua. So that was just something that I noticed this morning. He hasn't beaten Pittsburgh.
Should just point out too, Jawan Bentley just signed with their practice squad as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to talk about that dynamic, Peppers and Bentley over there. But over under, still on the Patriots rushing game. Drake May, 38 rushing yards. Over under.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna say over too.
I think they're gonna play a lot of man coverage and try to come after him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. They play man to man. They blitz a lot.
But I think you're going to see some design runs too.
Oh, okay. The Jets did that in week 1, and they had some success with it. I mean, Justin Fields is a different runner than Drake is, but they had some success with it in week 1, so they could do that. But watching the Seattle tape, like it was West Coast. It was outside zone, boot, outside zone, boot. And the Steelers just could not stop it. So I don't know why you would go away from that.
Well, but that's the thing. That gets back to what I said before. The Steelers know that well, if I was another team, this is what I would be trying to do because we haven't done well. So they're going to, I would imagine they're going to do something to rectify that. Patriots assume that they're going to do that, and I think you're going to get Drake May involved in the running game a little bit to just get them on their heels.
But didn't he just tell you that that's what the Jets did?
They did it in week 1. But
so why wouldn't they be ready to stop that?
Because in week 2, Seattle shredded them doing something else, which was very obvious.
I think it's reasonable to suggest over that total, but because of what Evan said, if they're going to play a lot of man, that opens up some scrambles. Like last year, he had plenty of games that was over 38 yards rushing, but they didn't really have any design runs. I don't want to have him design run a lot in the red zone or something, like that's good, but I don't think I want to continue to build on what they did last week.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Seattle did against Pittsburgh. So I would just stick to it. Now, the one adjustment that I think Pittsburgh will make is they play a lot of single high safety coverage and teams are just running crossing routes against them and getting guys open. I would probably expect them to play a lot more too high in this game because they're going to expect the Patriots to run the crossing routes like Seattle and the Jets did. And so with too high safeties, you can stay over the top of both of those routes. But at the same time, Seattle, Clint Kubiak's their offensive coordinator, Shanahan guy. He hit all the same notes the Patriots hit down in Miami. Bootlegs, move the pocket, outside zone, run the football. Like it was all of the same sequencing that the Patriots used to beat the Dolphins. So until the Steelers prove that they can stop it, I don't know why you would necessarily go away from that.
Yeah, just for me, with Josh's experience and like we talked about with Brady being able to carve them up through the air, it would be encouraging to me to just see Drake carve them through the air. And opportunities present themselves, third down, everybody's covered, he runs. But to me, I think that's what I want to continue to see is just Drake in command, in control. And like I said, we've seen these guys get picked apart before. Maybe he's able to do it too.
So moving to the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, is goal number 1 to just hurry him up to screw with his timing?
Yeah.
I would come after Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Week 1?
I would come after him, because he can't move.
Did you just have an argument with your boy about this?
No.
Okay, continue then.
Cool.
I don't know.
Because I heard Alex this morning on one of my shows, as Fred says.
Okay. Yeah, I hear his point, but watching Aaron Rodgers, I mentioned the pressure to sack rate yesterday. Like, his sack avoidance is totally gone. Like, when he gets pressured, he's going down. And I don't think he wants to get hit. So if I'm the Patriots, I am teeing off, and I am coming after Aaron Rodgers, and I am making him beat me with his legs. Like, make him move off his spot, get him rattled. I don't think he's interested in sitting in the pocket and getting hit at this stage of his career.
I agree.
And I don't think that he can avoid it if they get pressure on him. So I hope, fingers crossed, that we see a certain number 0 out there at practice today, because getting him back and being able to play man-to-man and then come after Rodgers is probably the best formula that they can put out there. I just don't know if they're going to have the horses in the back end to do it if Gonzalez can't play.
If he was back, how would you use him? I mean, is Carlton Davis more appealing with DK a little bit more just because of the size, or do you feel good about that matchup with Gonzalez?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I actually don't hate Carlton Davis on DK and Marcus Jones on Calvin Austin. Like, I don't think that's a terrible matchup, but they use so much two tight end that like I'd worried about who's covering Freiermuth, who's covering Jonnu with the tight ends, where if you have Gonzo back, like maybe you can use Carlton Davis in that capacity or Alex Austin in that capacity, and it just kind of creates that trickle down effect. So let's throw them out like the matchups, because I think they would actually be okay with the receivers without Gonzo, because I do think Carlton Davis matches up pretty well against DK, but it's just the other guys that would worry me.
Jonnu Smith, playing him.
I mean, I think it's a really good question, but because of Gonzalez's health, I think if you were 100%, I'm not weighing those two. It's Gonzalez would be on DK Metcalf for me, but I think it's a great point for what you guys just said. It's not a terrible matchup for Carlton Davis with his physicality, but I would want my best guy on their best guy, and as long as it's not like a small little jitterbug type that maybe presents a different kind of a matchup problem. I'll tell you, I do kind of expect him to be at practice. I don't know if he's going to be able to play Sunday. I would, if I was the opposing team, whenever he gets back on the field,
test him.
I would just run nothing but go route. I would maybe even put one of my secondary. I would try to like get one of my secondary receivers and just run them on as many go routes as you could, just to test it, just to see how much how close to 100% is he, and can he hold up? This is a long time that he's.
Well, you would imagine
if
he's out there, he's 100%. Isn't that what this is all about?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think he's going to be 100% if he plays Sunday.
Right. Hard 3 practices and jump right in, and it would just be good to start the clock. Like even if he's out there today, I don't necessarily. All right, he's playing Sunday. Like I forget who I heard talking about it, but I mean, really, Buffalo's kind of the target. If you really want him to get up to full speed, so maybe get him back in practice this week, ease him in next week against the Panthers, and then really feel good about where he's at by the time you get to Buffalo.
So if you're the Steelers looking at the Patriots tape from last week, you're saying, oh, they're having trouble matching up in the middle of the field with linebackers. So do you go after that?
Good question.
And do they have the personnel to do
Jalen
that?
Warren.
Jalen Warren's been sneaky good for them to start the year, but he's not Echan. He's not like a speed running back.
Gainwell's a good scat back too, but not that what you're talking about.
They do have tight ends.
The tight ends are good.
Yeah, Jonnu, Freiermuth. Darnell Washington's a blocking tight end. He's basically a third tackle when he plays, but they do have good tight ends, and the middle of the field will. With getting Gonzo back and with Davis, I think that's where it helps the most, because you can trust those guys to cover one-on-one on the outside, and then you can flood the middle of the field with bodies, so you don't get Robert Spillane on Achane with a bunch of space in the middle of the field. So hopefully that does happen. But with like Gonzo, even if he just comes back this week and plays on third down, and he just plays 15 to 20 plays on third down, like just to get him back in to it. Like he didn't have a training camp. He had no preseason games. He did nothing all summer long. So like you have to have some sort of build up to get him ready.
Is this a must win for the Steelers?
No. I mean, from a certain perspective of looking at Aaron Rodgers, what are you expecting out of him? Like in that regard, I mean, maybe this is one and done for him, right? I mean, he's going to be done. So every game is valuable to them. They only have so much landing pad to work with. Like with the Patriots, you've got Drake May, and if they were to lose this one, you feel, well, we're still building something. It's like time is ticking for this iteration of the Steelers.
Yeah, if I were a Steelers fan, that's what I would be monitoring. Like, is this going to be different than the last 2 or 3 years? Are we going to be held back by our lack of quarterback play?
Yeah.
And you're using these weeks to try to figure that out. In week 1, it looked like you weren't going to be. In week 2, it was a little more up and down. He made some plays, but like Evan keeps saying it, and I think it's worth repeating. He can't avoid any kind of pressure anymore. So he used to be able to be as good as anybody, moving around, making throws with his feet off the ground, and he can still do all that stuff. But he's not interested in moving anymore. He can't and he won't. So it's both.
It's almost like he's like trying to show the other team, if you're not going to block for me, I'm not going to move.
He wants to be in the shotgun and just pick matchups.
Yeah.
Like pre-snap, like where am I going with the ball, and I'm just going to get the football out, and he can still drop dimes. Like he's got great, still got great arm talent. Like but that's just what he does.
But I mean, he's really good on. I mean, the athletic guy, good on the run. Like, is he still like? Are you still concerned about him breaking the pocket and making plays on the run, like where he used to be? Or are you just kind of saying like, he can't really move. Let's just send Barmore and Williams right up the gut.
Wasn't
and
it
just
first game
flush him
last
out.
year where we were thinking he couldn't move, and then all of a sudden against us he could move all over the place?
He did.
Right.
He did. There was the one game in the 2 year, a year now plus 2 games that he moved. It was. You're absolutely right. We all said all those things, and then he went and moved all over the place.
And he also
Maybe he used it all up against us. I don't know.
him and Geno Smith. And I know they.
he can move by, like they do run a lot of bootlegs with Arthur Smith, and like he can still bootleg and like move by design. He's great with the fakes and all that stuff still.
Yeah.
But if you get him under pressure, he goes down. I mean, he's going down 30% of the time when he's getting pressured. It's a really high number.
All right, well, let's hope they can do that. We need a home win. Patriots need a home win at
Sure
Gillette
do.
Stadium.
We have a little bit of breaking news. If you
Oh,
want to share it.
yeah,
on the
let's
show.
hear it.
Antonio Gibson, Special Teams Player of the Week
Oh right.
Okay.
honoree. There you go.
All
You
right.
went that, Deuce.
Good for
so
him. I
you-
did.
Yeah.
I did. No, good for Antonio. When we were joking, if they lost, maybe the other punt returner would have gotten it. But no, good for him. I mean, what a run, pulled away full speed, and good. I mean, he had a bunch of yards too. I mean, I guess that's kind of the function of kickoff returns now, where you're gonna have some more kickoff. I mean, he had like 170 yards, but he's getting 25 yards a clip. But no, he's been solid. Him and Travion in the preseason, hopefully continue to make plays. I mean, we talked about it a little bit.
I mean,
It's a legit play now, that kickoff.
I guess, with the short amount of time that we've had to review it, the new kickoff rule is kind of good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has increased, I think, I don't know the actual numbers, but it seems like it's increased the amount of returns versus
It absolutely has.
touchbacks. And at the same time, because they're not running full length, it has helped with safety. I don't know. So it's done both?
Yeah,
Is that true?
There's a lot of people that have pushed back on the safety part of it, but you can't argue that if they wanted to get the kickoff back in the game, this adjustment has worked.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to say it was like over 70%, 75+% returns, as opposed to all those touchbacks that you had last year. I've been a little surprised. I thought if the returns were creating problems for teams, they would just start saying, well, what's the difference between 5 yards? We'll just give them the touchback and give them the ball. But we haven't really seen it yet.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I think
We haven't really seen an
Right.
increase in the touchbacks. I still think that might happen,
Yeah. But I think
but
right
it
now
hasn't so far.
teams have covered pretty well. So, I don't know
I
what
think
the
it's been a
average.
problem. I
don't
think
know-
everybody's starting over the 30-yard line anyway.
Well,
I mean,
but if it's short of the 35, then there's also that chance that you could pin them back even further. So I don't know.
Yeah, but my point is you're risking a big play and you're still giving the ball over the 30-yard line. Just give them the touchback.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that, I think it's been a problem. I think there have been a lot of big returns.
What's the average drive start?
I don't
we
know.
know?
That's a
After
good
kickoff.
stat. Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't dive into stats until like week 4, but
Right. It's too, but you're right for that because it's
Yeah.
too small of a sample size. You're right, Mike.
But it's also some additional pressure on the kickers to get it in the landing zone.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always that pressure getting it out of bounds, and that was, a big no-no for the kickers. But now you go from making an extra point to now you've got to land the ball in the landing zone, and you've
I
seen
guess
some struggles.
because you need to be more accurate, I'm surprised we haven't seen more really high kicks to give your coverage team time to get there and set up.
They can't do
You've
that.
seen more like chip shots almost, that it's almost like you're pitching it with a golf club into that landing zone, which to me gives the advantage to the returner because the ball gets there quicker and,
Some space.
yeah.
What were you going to say? No, what were you going to
wanna
say? I
hammer
don't know. I want to hear what
it
you're about to
doesn't
say.
matter how high you kick it or how it gets there. They can't move until it gets touched.
Oh, is that right?
Right.
Oh, okay,
right.
then never mind.
Yeah, no.
So that's
Nuance.
why what teams are trying, what some kickers are trying to do is they're trying to perfect that line drive that hits the ground in the landing zone and then maybe gives the return, kind of like what happened to Antonio Gibson
Yeah.
in late in the first half. We kind of mishandled it, he bobbled it. It ended up being irrelevant because it was the end of the half, but he ended up being out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Right.
That's what they're trying to create, some problems handling the ball, or if it goes in the end zone, that touchback doesn't go to the 35. It goes to the 20.
Yeah.
Right? If the ball lands in the field and then ends up in the end zone for a touchback, that doesn't go out to the 35. So that's what the kickers are trying to do, but it's not easy.
Yeah, no.
But it's not a normal kick for them.
No,
Right.
I mean, I kind of have to give the NFL credit for, we talk about all these rule changes constantly, but this seems like one where you got to watch the kickoffs now. It's not just
I just don't understand why they can't just have the kickoff the way it normally was, why they had to do this thing. And that's why I think there's a lot of people pushing back on the safety thing. And frankly, Vrabel's one of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily see why this is safer.
It's more exciting. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is you could have the same excitement if you had the touchback at the 35. They would stop touching it back just on the regular kickoff.
Yeah.
Go back.
Because I think it's kind of making it a gimmick play now with everybody lined up like that.
Well, don't you think? And again, I don't have the data, but the fact that it's not as long a run for the coverage team and the collisions aren't as huge, that in itself makes it a little safer. I don't know.
This is not me talking. I'm just listening to some coaches that have kind of pushed back on that.
I mean, if you pull your hamstring, that could happen anytime.
No. We're talking about concussions.
Collisions.
We're talking concussions.
Yeah, collisions.
And they claim that this doesn't really do much
Who's
to
they?
Coaches.
Okay. Well,
it's not, and I'm sure it's not every coach.
No, I'd just be interested
But
if
some
the data
coaches have
backs
pushed
that
back.
up.
Well, that really hasn't, like Mike said, we're talking about a season plus 2 weeks worth of data.
Okay.
I thought that I was being a hardo for saying that, and I appreciate the support on that, Paul.
No,
'cause I really don't try to get too carried away with any stats right now.
Well, and that's like the whole thing with and I know part of it is reputation, but we're going back to the Steelers, and you're looking at it and you're like, well, wow, two teams were able to really throw the ball on them, and the Jets were able to run all over them. I don't think Seattle had as much success running as it's 117 yards is kind of a pedestrian day running the ball. But Kenneth Walker certainly had a great day, averaging 8 yards a carry. So you sort of look at that and say, well, is that what Pittsburgh is now? Are they just not going to be a good defense this year? Or is it just a tough start to the season? And maybe the Jets did some things that really caught them off. New quarterback with a different style of play. I don't know if we have enough to go on. So heading into the week, I was thinking, everybody's going to be like, oh, this is a great defense for the Patriots to be facing now. I think Pittsburgh's going to, like TJ Watt, to me, I'd be very surprised if he has a quiet day Sunday.
Yeah.
He's had a pretty quiet start to the season. But then I'm looking at all these guys, Joey Porter and Deshaun Elliott haven't played yet, or haven't played much. Derek Harmon hasn't played at all. Alex Highsmith's a pretty good edge linebacker. He's going to be out of this game with a high ankle sprain. Maybe this is going to be another week that Pittsburgh's defense struggles.
I know. Yeah, you're embodying what I said at the top of there's just so many conflicting thoughts that I have about this team and this matchup historically and based on the first 2 weeks that I don't know. I just don't feel like I have a good beat on it. Everything you guys have said is
I mean, we're a new team, really, and so
Yeah, one guy I would say
Rodgers, they're a new team.
I know we mentioned him yesterday, but I'd like to see Anthony Jennings active again, and I think he's a useful piece against a big physical team like this. And just seeing Jennings get out there, you're reminded that he has an NFL skill set of being a really tough SOB on that edge, and it's just a good thing to have, especially when you never know how a game's going to unfold. You can count on him for that. Curious how it lines up if Keon White's back from his illness of last week. Does Keon White take a step back, or is he right back in there? But I really liked what I saw from Anthony Jennings. I think he'd be useful this week.
Sounds good. All right. Jack writes in about the game, kind of about the game. He says, to prepare for the game, the PU team should play stud or stiff. For each of the 5 Steelers below, each member of the team must declare whether he is a stud or a stiff. It must be one or the other, no middle ground.
Okay.
It's a tough game.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Stiff.
Really?
At this point.
DK Metcalf.
Stud.
Jonnu Smith.
See, that's exactly the guy I was thinking of. I'm going to have to say stud, but I don't think he's a stud, but he's not a stiff.
Maybe stud against our D.
He's closer to a stud than a stiff, so I'm going to go stud.
TJ Watt.
Stud.
Jalen Ramsey.
He's getting stiffy. I don't know.
I'm going to say closer to a
He's
stud.
He's like the opposite of Jonnu. Jonnu's closer to stud. I'd say they're both.
I would say Ramsey's closer to stud than stiff, but he's not a stud anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good game, though.
Coaching matchup? Do they have the edge?
No, I don't think so.
Good question.
I mean, you I don't think we should be going into games thinking the other team has the coaching edge anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I
But
hope
we'll
so.
see. I mean, we got to get a sample size under Vrabel and start to understand
A lot of
what
sample
his teams
size talk.
what his teams play like, and it's just like, again, it's just hard to know. What are you going to see? Is our Vrabel teams going to be consistent and pretty close to getting better each week, or are they going to be the kind of team that's up and down? And it was good last week, and then this week they're going to come home and maybe it isn't as
Like
good.
I knew the point that Evan was making when he was talking about Josh McDaniels' familiarity with Pittsburgh and then Vrabel with Arthur Smith, but I think that's kind of negated. I think obviously Tomlin has immense knowledge of the Patriots, and Arthur Smith knows Vrabel. Yeah. Like anything you have Vrabel to Smith, Smith has to Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
Like
especially on him looking at the defense.
Together. Yeah.
Like looking at the Patriots defense now, Arthur Smith probably sees a lot of what he saw in Tennessee.
So to answer your question, Freddie, I don't think that the Steelers have an edge, but I don't look at the Patriots having an edge either. I think there's probably two good coaching staffs.
Yeah.
I don't think kind of like the first game of the year, with Pete Carroll. I didn't look at that as a huge edge for the Patriots either.
Yeah.
Okay. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast@patriots.com is the way to email us. I'll remind everyone that at around 12:55, we'll go to Mike Vrabel live. We'll do his press conference. Good thing we did that last week because there was like breaking news. We found out about Terrell Williams during that press conference. So you never know what's going to happen during the press conferences. So
and we did hear from Vrabel on Monday saying that Terrell's going to be back and around, but it doesn't sound like he's fully back. He's around, but I don't know if he's resuming his full duties yet.
We'll still have Zach Kerr calling plays.
Zach.
Yeah. What was I about to say? I forget. Oh, and then where did Evan go?
Not sure. I don't know. I thought he was going to hang for the first hour.
It's like locker rooms after Vrabel, right? So why is he leaving at 12:30?
I don't know.
Get in line for digs? What's going on?
Maybe Barth had an emergency or something.
Well, yeah, because Mike isn't until 12:55.
Barth giving birth, he had to rush to the hospital?
That's Cardi B, Alex B, Cardi B. No, I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Okay.
No, he just got
because Mike is 12:55, right?
Yeah, locker room 110.
Yeah, I don't know.
He just ran out.
I don't know. Maybe he felt like he emptied the clip of football knowledge today after Catch 22, and he's got nothing more to say.
I don't think that Evans ever emptied the clip of football knowledge.
All right, let's start off with Anthony in Seattle. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, what's up, my people?
Hey.
I checked the forecast. It's going to be a beautiful weekend for my first trip to Boston. It's also going to be nice in Foxborough. But Fred, hey, we're staying in Boston, so obviously we're going to be seeing the city and all that stuff on Saturday, and then driving out to Foxborough for the game on Sunday. But hey, when they have events like that, isn't there probably a good chance that they'd have them as like guests at the game and maybe do a little something at halftime? It would be pretty cool to see Jules at halftime.
Yeah, you will see Jules at halftime. Parcells won't be there. He can only be here for Saturday, but they will honor Julien at halftime of the game.
Nice. Hey, I never do this, but I did want to follow up on my call from yesterday. I didn't get a chance to make my point before Paul jumped in there, and then I wanted to give Deuce his flowers. But hey, Paul, all I was trying to say is that when Patriots fans have done that in the past with the blank amounts of offensive points, you made a very good point that I agree with, is that that's one less possession for an offense that you haven't really stopped. And so the same way I thought Miami scored around 30 because their offense played well, the Patriots scored around 30 because typically when your offense is playing well, 30 points is you're going to be in that 30-point or better range. So we can agree to disagree, but that was all I was saying. As for Deuce, you might not want these flowers because of how we're feeling about the defense as a whole, and I agree. They got to tighten it up, and maybe Gonzo will help with that stuff. However, you were on this, and it was cool to see it come to fruition, but. First of all, the defensive stop to close out a game. We've been looking for that stop for 5 years. But I specifically remember when Vrabel first came and was bringing in all the new faces. And you on this show said it feels like they're building a defense that has the ability to deliver a counterpunch. And, not sit back and keep everything in front and wait for a mistake. And yes, Miami helped out with some of the down and distance situation. But the bottom line is with the, 2 fourth-down stops, game on the line, you're getting multiple pressures, sacks, interception. Like, that is the definition of delivering a counterpunch to an offense that's moved the ball up and down the field on you all game long. And I think we're starting to have a little bit of that fun that you were talking about a few years ago.
All right, thanks, Anthony.
That was fun. That was fun on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't so. I think we could.
I knew you were going to do that. Yeah, I don't really see it that way. I knew I could tell by Mike's face.
Well, it needs to be more consistent. And I mean, we said it coming out of training camp that, it seems like this is going to be a lot of boom or bust. They're going to make a big play. They're going to give up a big play. And it's kind of been exactly that. So, you want them to find a middle ground, but at the same time, make those big plays. And those, game-ending plays are huge. So, I think that gives us a little positive vibe about it all. But, when you look at the real pressure and it all, it was kind of Tua doing what he wanted for 3 quarters. So, you know me, I like to say I try to stay balanced. But
they only scored 20 points.
They did. The bottom line is they only scored 20 points. And I don't think that they played defense that would, sort of lead you to believe they were only scoring 20, but that's all they scored. And they were able to take advantage of the second and third opportunities they got, and they closed it out. That's why I think that, the most exciting part for me was when they've been in that situation in the past, they would, it wouldn't matter. They would just, okay, so we got to do this again. And they would just do it again. Well, this time, guy steps out of bounds. They get a couple of penalties. The Patriots closed it out. That's, to me, was the big difference. That the Patriots came through and made the plays when they had to. That's why all the stuff that went wrong, I acknowledge. I'm not ignoring it. I'm just not ready to talk about it now because it was such a departure from what we've seen for 3 years now, 2+ seasons. They couldn't get those stops against the Raiders even in week 1. From week 1 to week 2, they got the stops. When the Raiders got the ball back at the end of the game, up a score, they're throwing bombs over Carlton Davis to continue the, chew the clock up. This week, they were able to stop him twice. That's big progress.
Yeah. Listen, nothing says football season like firing up the grill in the backyard and having a cookout. And the best cookouts have the best looking lawns. And that brings me to Aaron's. The lawns that are cut with an Aaron's mower are the best looking lawns. Aaron's, the official lawn mower of the New England Patriots, is proud to help Patriots fans get back to football. Visit www.aarons.com to find your Aaron's.
Starting to wind down the grass where I'm mowing a little bit now.
Yeah.
Starts to get a little cooler.
Yeah.
I really need it because I told you I was planning on doing it last weekend and I didn't. And now I'm scrambling. I'm not going to be able to do it this weekend.
And it's getting longer and it's going to be a little slower.
I don't need an Aaron's.
No.
Unless they
will
want
power right through even if it's a little long. That's what, when you wait too long, then my mower, it's not an Aaron's, so I probably need to get one because it struggles when the grass, I miss it by a week or two. And
it doesn't get long to the point where I can't mow it.
No.
Do you aerate and thatch in the fall?
I try to thatch a little bit. I haven't overseeded yet, but maybe next year I'll do that in the spring. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that.
You don't do any of that?
No, mine's all just weeds, and I just mow it, and I've just mowed it enough that the grass
green.
is kind of filled in.
It's nothing like when you mow it, and then it's like maybe like twilight, a little dark, not quite dark, but you look and you're like,
yeah, I know.
Hun,
I know.
The lawn looks fantastic because you don't see all the little bare spots. You don't see all the weeds.
Right.
Just dark enough that it all looks nice
I'll go
and even.
sit out on the front steps and watch it. And I'm like, it almost looks like a golf course out there right now.
Yeah.
For like an hour after you mow it, but
well, then you get up and 10 o'clock the next morning, you're like, ooh.
Got all different
Doesn't look
weeds
quite as
popping
good.
up, and yeah.
All right, let's go to Eddie. Eddie in L.A. on the hotline. What's up, Eddie? Eddie.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Sorry. I just wanted to ask real quick. I know Evan, I think it was Evan that just said that he's not really worried about Jaylen Warren, and obviously Devon Achane is a different animal. He's highly explosive, but I also don't know if the defense is fast enough to cover the good pass catching running backs. And I just don't want to see Jaylen Warren have a big game because last week he did have an explosive catch that he took for 50 yards, I think, and then the week before he did have a receiving touchdown. So I just want to know how do you guys think you could shut down Jaylen Warren in the passing game? That's all I got for you guys.
Okay, thanks.
That's a good question. I would definitely look. It's the Patriots linebackers are
they gotta tackle
very low.
better.
You've got to target them. If I'm Pittsburgh, I've got to test that out. So I would find a way to use Jonnu Smith, use Jaylen Warren, and try to get them matched up. I think some of it is a little bit of scheme and Spillane just put in tough spots with, in space. I mean, there's not a lot of linebackers in the league that can man up on Devin Acham while he's already got a little bit of a head of steam. So, hopefully those guys start to get in gear. I mean, I think it's critical for the defense. And it's been a couple tough matchups right out of the gate. There's been some issues. I'm trying to be patient, but I'd expect the Steelers to target him for sure. The middle of the field.
Middle of the field.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Providence. Randy.
Hey guys, how's it going today?
Hey, Randy.
I called to ask. I worried about Robert Spillane. I mean, through 2 games, his production just hasn't been what you saw in Vegas. And I mean, I think that not only is he a liability in coverage, but there are times that he's just almost looking lost out there. Like he's just not sure where he needs to be. He's kind of floating around the action, but not really part of it. And I wonder if you guys are concerned about his fit in this defense. And then you guys were talking about Jalen Ramsey earlier. And I mean, I think that he's getting a little older. He's on the wrong side of 30, but he's been playing with his hair on fire the past couple games for Pittsburgh. If you're watching those games,
he's played well.
Off. I mean, he's hitting hard pass breakups left and right. He had the Garrett Wilson one that sealed the game, but he had a couple more last week too, and an interception. And I just wonder, how you think we're going to deal with him.
On Spillane, I almost thought the opposite. I wonder if he's overthinking things and just getting too much in his own head and just play, dude. You're a good linebacker. You've tackled people before. Trying to force turnovers, trying to launch himself, and then he misses the tackle. We know that play I'm talking about.
Yep.
And we go in the locker room today. He's talked. I think last Wednesday he talked. I'd be curious to get by his locker to hear him talk. I mean, the captain, he should talk. And somebody else pointed out what I pointed out yesterday, that I think it was Reese actually just saying the look on Robert Spillane's face after that game was not somebody who was excited about that they just won a game.
Yeah,
Somebody
don't worry about the
extremely
big hit.
upset that they lost.
Don't worry about the big hit. Just
settle in and play.
Just get out.
To his point though, I have noticed he seems out of position at times, especially in the run game. He's jumping gaps and picking the wrong one, and I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not privy to what the calls are and what he's what his job description is, but it does seem like he's taken himself out of some plays, as well as some of the missed tackles that Mike is talking about. It's a couple of games. He's obviously familiar with this defense. He's played in it before. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm going to go back to that small sample size thing. It hasn't been good. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. He hasn't played well.
No.
But
I know what you're saying.
He's a better player than this.
Yeah, on that Achane touchdown where, it's like he set closer to the sideline, like he's kind of waiting, and it's like the middle of the field is wide open, and like we talked about, that should have been the priority. Like I'd rather force Tua to throw the out than to throw just a little slant across the middle, easy pass, and then it's a 6. So yeah, I'm not going to get too worked up. I mean, I know no one is more upset than Robert Spillane about this. That's why I think it'd be interesting to hear from him today and see what his mindset is going into this week.
Sounds good. Cody writes in, props to the first caller yesterday, 40 minutes into the show, talking about the Dolphins game he has. So what did you think of the game? Question for today, what do you think about the Steelers game? Well, we've been talking about it. Cody, he's been all over me, though.
Oh,
he's been writing all these nasty emails.
I love it.
About shortening the pregame show.
He's upset about that?
You didn't tell us that you were going to do that. And,
we actually did. But
he's been all over me.
That's the one guy.
I think the hour pregame is great.
You know what I really like though is the increase. Cody is the latest of the caller on caller crime, and the emailer on emailer crime.
What did you think of the game?
I love it. I'm here for
That's pretty funny.
Absolutely. Darius says Spillane actually looks like an undrafted player so far. Hope he cleans it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know can do it. He's done it. So let's just get right here.
I think it was just so surprising as he just exudes such confidence. And, I mean, he has the stats from the last couple of years. I mean, the guy's all over the field making tackles. So at the very least, I thought he'd be able to do that. The hope for me was, all right, he's going to be a tackling machine, but is he going to be able to have the tackles for loss, the passes defense, the pressures? And they have been using him as a pass rusher a little bit. So he has delivered some of that, but, the other stuff, not really at all.
Yep. David writes in, he's from the Philippines. This is my worry about this week's game.
Good.
Pittsburgh has only been called for 6 penalties, totaling 41 yards so far this season. That's tied for the least penalties called against in the entire NFL. Unfortunately, our team has had 21 penalties in 2 games, which is tied for second worst.
Yep.
We really need to clean up the mistakes. We got away with 12 penalties against Miami in large part because they also made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
They had 10 penalties on their side, so we only were 2 behind. Pittsburgh won't likely do that. If we can find a way to clean up our act and play with minimum errors, and I think we have a shot, if we continue to shoot ourselves in the head every 4 or 5 plays, we won't. So it's interesting because Vrabel was talking about that, and he was saying that his metrics, his key metrics, aren't the team with the least amount of penalties. It's quarterback rating, it's run differential, and I think one other that
turnovers.
And turnovers.
Mm-hmm. That's win rate.
Win rate, and then he
throw up in my mouth.
And he mentioned the stat with he said he looked it up, and teams that have the more penalties, win-lose at about 50%. It's I think they lose at about 53%, so they only win 40. But it is around 50%. Where those other metrics he mentioned, it is a big difference in win rate.
Well, when you're not the most talented team, I think you can afford to live in the margins a little bit more. And for a new team that you're trying to instill, one hand you want them to be aggressive and tough and snarly and all those things that they're trying to put into this defense and and offense personality-wise, but you've got to be able to clean up those things. So even if it's not the biggest priority, obviously, especially being at home will help a little bit too. I think.
In Pittsburgh, they've always been a highly, in the past when they were really good, they had a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
But they were so good they could overcome it. When you're a middling team or not too good, you can't afford any mistakes.
Well, I would just say,
because even the slightest offside just derails everything.
Look at the Dolphins last week.
And I heard Mike talking about that, and he said, early in his coaching career in Tennessee, he considered himself a little bit of a playoff Nazi. Like he went out of his mind.
Penalty.
A penalty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. And he went back and he looked. I just feel like that is so short-sighted. Like to suggest, well, we went back and looked at the data. The team that had more penalties doesn't necessarily lose. Well, so does that mean you should try to commit penalties? Like,
no, that's not what he's saying.
So he has his 3 win rate things, right? So on Sunday, just out of, your quarterback played the best game of his career and won the quarterback rating battle. You were +1 in turnovers and you had double the rushing yardage. So why do we need to go down to the last play of the game? Maybe because we committed 12 penalties.
Yeah.
Like, everything is important. And I know that Mike is not saying penalties aren't important. I know that's not what he's saying. But I just thought that was a little bit of a laissez-faire attitude toward the penalties.
Well, I think
that's not really, an indicator of winning. Well, yeah, I know. Did you play better or not? That's usually the indicator of winning.
Knowing him, he's probably trying to nip that narrative in the bud. And a week-long thing that, penalties.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, but I can't imagine he doesn't care if his team.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Penalties.
I'm not suggesting that he doesn't care about penalties.
Right.
I just thought there was some of the explanation to me was a little short-sighted. That's not a good way to try to go about business.
And was that a press conference or was that on the radio?
I think it was on the radio.
On the radio, yeah.
I think it
I
was
just wonder
on
if that's how he talks to his team about it, or you get asked a question and
Don't worry about the penalty.
well, I mean, I just,
No, there is an element and it's not really nowadays because you can't really play with an intimidating nature like you used to. But the Raiders, that was part of their DNA.
Right.
We're going to commit penalties. We're going to kind of do it intentionally because we're going to try to intimidate, and that's how we're going to end up winning games as a result. I mean, teams don't really do that anymore.
Well, the rules don't allow for it.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to get kicked out if you do what they did. Sean is in Virginia. What's up, Sean?
Well, guys, how you guys doing?
Good,
Sean.
Yeah, there's 2 points I want to make. The first one is when I kept reiterating about how the reason why the Patriots weren't able to replicate the success that the Colts were able to do against the Dolphins. I keep talking about the linebackers. The linebackers not able to cover very well, move very well, and the safety play is not as great. So, like I said, it'll be hard for them to try to contain a guy like Tua as far as try to attack the zone in the spot where he likes to go, which is the middle of the field. Now, with the second point I'd like to attack is that I really think they should really play Kyle Williams in this game because there's certain things that I see with Jalen Ramsey. I feel like they can attack him, especially if he's playing safety in this game. because he's so stiff and he struggles against the shiftier receivers, within certain zones. It's like when he got beat on that touchdown on that right side by Smith and Jigba, I think, one of those receivers. I forget their name. But I really think they should play Kyle Williams in this game because of that. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Thanks, Deshaun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Kyle Williams.
Yeah. I hope the coaches are listening.
Get him out there.
Getting the game plan here right on Patriots Unfiltered.
Well, I think they tried to take a shot to him like the second play of the game where they had like 3 tight ends. He was the only receiver out. And
was the very slow developing pass was a deep ball designed for him that he got sacked on?
Only guy on the route. Yeah, only guy on the route.
Danny's in Daytona. Danny.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just had a couple of takes for you guys. I wanted to say I didn't get to call in on Tuesday, but I wanted to mention that I was pleased with the performance on Tuesday or Sunday, but I did not like the first week's game with the Raiders. I agree with everybody's take on how they should have won that game, but I'm glad they turned it around. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention with you guys. Paul, one of your guys from your show was talking about how they should have just ran it back with Gerard because the defense looks just about the same as it did last year. I know there are some new guys, the communication, it just looks terrible. And I don't know if Mike Vrabel should just call plays until Terrell's back or what they should do, or maybe they should bring an advisor in. I don't know. Yeah. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look good at all. And then the other take, did you guys see friggin' Tyquan Thornton? So what is up with all these Patriots players leaving the Patriots, going to the Chiefs, and they look like real NFL players?
Some do.
Is it just a lack that we can't develop skill players, or what is that?
Yeah. So I don't think there have been very many of those, frankly. I mean, I would say Jonnu Smith would be an example of one of those guys that's had success since he left. Yeah. But, I mean, for every one of those, I can come up with Juju, who's done nothing since he left, and
even Tyquan, like everything I've seen of Tyquan.
Tyquan Thornton looks like a different person. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's been open.
Seen enough of him then.
He's made some big plays for them. He's been just like you would think. Mahomes can make anybody look good.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to give Mahomes the credit for that rather than Thornton, but that's me being stubborn.
Exactly.
But like N'Keal Harry, like he had a couple of opportunities elsewhere. Did he ever look any? And like I don't think there are very many guys skill position guys I'm talking about that have left and gone on to greener pastures, and all of a sudden, but geez, he couldn't do anything here. Jacoby Myers did exactly what he's doing with the Raiders. He did with the Patriots.
Oh yeah, no, he's one that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it with everybody. I mean, no matter Brady,
there's more
Cam
volume
Newton, Mac Jones
for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, but
he was a good player here, and he's a good player there.
Yeah,
really
he was good.
Player.
That's good, Fred.
Yeah.
That's perfectly put. I mean, he's still good.
Yeah,
he's just in. He's still good.
Right, and I mean, he would have been worth the money you would have paid him because he would have been.
But
consistent.
the amount of guys who weren't good here that ended up being good on other teams—that's a much smaller list.
Yeah, and lately, like in the last 4 or 5 years, there have been some guys that have left and they've succeeded, but not like the skill guy. Like the wide receivers is what we're talking about.
Braxton Berrios.
I'm going to be very surprised to see. Yeah, that's not only. He's done nothing. Like
Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar. I mean,
a little bit.
They just like there. Like Aguilar isn't any different than he was in the Patriots. He's a secondary guy. He's like a fourth receiver. You could make an argument. Well, he's on a better team now. So that's why he's just a fourth. Like he's like hanging on in the league.
Kidding.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to push back a little bit about the defense. Yes, the numbers say that they're having the same problems they had last year. But if I look at elements of this defense this year, I can see where they could be better.
Yeah.
And not just like on paper. I mean, Landry and Milton Williams in the middle, and
Barmore is back,
and Barmore being back healthy. I think eventually you're going to see a better defense than you saw last year. Now that's a low bar,
right?
But I think you're going to see a better.
You basically turn the whole unit over.
Right.
You better see a better defense.
But right now he's saying, "Oh, you might as well have had the same defense as last." I think right now it's
about performance.
Right. But I think you're going to see eventually that this defense gets better.
I think so. I mean,
it'll be better.
Yeah. I mean, they have some talent now, and they just have to come together. And again, 2 games. I'd like to hear what they have to say about it. Those guys in the locker room tonight.
Yep. So we're getting on. We're coming up to Vrabel pretty soon. So here we go. So I think we need to go to Vrabel. Alex, is that right? Maybe not. Not yet. Okay.
The scribes are ready. The scribes are waiting.
The scribes are ready, but he's not there yet. Okay.
There's a live look-in from one of my shows.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants to see, the back heads of the media.
Just want to make sure we.
As long as it's not mine.
While we're waiting.
It's like an eclipse.
Brunt Workwear makes boots and apparel that are built for the job site and an official sponsor of the New England Patriots and the Gillette Stadium field crew. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that helped design it. You can even try Brunt out on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they let you send it back. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS.
I got
yourself
mine on right
a couple
now.
Dunkin' Donuts coffees with the money you save on Brunt Workwear.
Go home and get your shine box.
How were those boots, Fred? You wore the Brunt work boots.
Very comfortable.
Yeah.
Very comfortable.
You didn't get them dirty at all, did you?
Nope. And that's the
They look
thing. They're
so
so nice. I don't want to wear them. So I got to get the other ones.
Yeah.
I think they're called the Marins.
Get them chewed up a little
They're
bit.
just
be willing
they're
to.
typical looking work boots.
So
They're
do you
stylish.
think, can you see yourself like shoveling snow, getting the Aaron snowblower out there?
Absolutely.
With those on?
Brunt
Because that's what
boots.
that's what I'm going to have to do.
Sipping a dunk.
These are my new snow boots.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to be too nice that I don't feel comfortable, cleaning my yard.
They're very comfortable.
It's all on you now, Paul. You got no help.
Yeah, and a lot has changed in that regard. I have no help.
Me too.
My two useless. Well, I can't even call the other one a pudding pop anymore for what he's doing right now. So
Yeah, he's got a pretty good toughness
they get to
card
talk to
now.
him last night. His voice is all raspy.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
so funny.
Used to getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Lou in Philly, small note on Stevenson's 2-point conversion Sunday. It was one of my favorite plays of the game simply for the offensive line's excitement after.
That's a great call out.
Wilson, Bradbury, and Onwenu moved Miami's D-line to another zip code, and after the play, the excitement Jared Wilson showed was contagious.
Yep, I agree. I clocked that too. It's a good call out. It was cool to see, and Jared Wilson. You've been on the journey with him a little bit. Didn't know what to expect of him. People were very high on his athleticism. Thought he was going to be a center. Had kind of a position battle all summer, and
That's true. I thought he would be starting at center, not guard.
Hey, but it's always fun to see how they fit in, where they're going to end up, and there was even a period of time where people were like, "Is he even the right guy?" And just to see him have a kind of tough game last week and then come in this week and have that play to kind of seal it off, and you can just see again, for me, it's all about just building confidence and building belief, and those are plays where I really feel like you see it coming off the field with those guys.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's see, Matt in Wichita, Kansas. If you're saying we should expect a lot of man and a lot of blitzing from Pittsburgh, do you think this is a good game to sneak in a little Kyle Williams? He would likely be up against their third best pass coverage guy, and I don't think the league has really seen what he can do. I think he's the best downfield threat on the team, and the Patriots haven't really shown him yet.
Well, I think they tried to on that second play, and I think that's just a little glimpse of how Josh, I think, is going to try to sneak him in. I was struggling thinking back of former draft picks that made the team and were going to develop and play, and how Josh got them into the system, got them experience when they were young. Edelman is like a weird example because he kind of got thrown into the mix when Welker got hurt week 2. And,
I agree with you.
Kind
That's
of
different.
tough. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that you guys.
I mean,
comes
for
to mind
McDaniels,
they haven't developed a lot of wide receivers in a long time.
Was McDaniels here for Malcolm Mitchell? Is that help me out with my timeline?
Yep.
So he was injured a little bit, but he probably contributed as much as a rookie as any of the rookie receivers did. So he would be one in that positive category. For the most part, it's been a struggle. I mean, it's well documented. They haven't done well at that position. We'll see if it's any different with Kyle Williams. I don't really. I agree that he could be a good downfield option for them if they're looking to stretch the field. But otherwise, I'm kind of comfortable with sort of the 3-for-4 spots that they have going.
Yeah.
And if they have different game plan ideas with Mac Hollins and Demario Douglas, that made perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even an idiot like me who's not breaking down the X's and O's, I can understand. But we wanted to be a little bit more physical. We wanted to sort of be more versatile out of some of these formations, and we wanted to make something look the same.
Yeah.
Run, pass. With Douglas on the field, you probably pretty much know it's pass because he's not going to be as, effective in the blocking game.
Yeah,
So with
right.
Matt Collins, you might get a little bit more versatility. So I kind of like those 3 for the 4 spots. And if Kyle Williams can continue to progress and works his way into that mix, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, we're waiting for Mike Vrabel. It's a little late. It's not like him. Usually, what's that? Oh, here we go.
Good. Yeah, so far so good.
It's been about 3 years since this team put together back-to-back wins. How important is it in the culture, what you're trying to build, to get some momentum with stringing
It's
together?
always important to win as many games as you possibly can. There's a lot of stats here, guys, that I'm not familiar with, nor am I concerned with, right? The focus is, trying to build some consistency, which would then lead to confidence and continue to build on what we did and prove the things that we have to fix, and then continue to eliminate some of the things that we feel like could get you beat. And so I'm excited about doing that today through meetings and practice and getting them to get ready for a new opponent, just like we did last week. We cleared the deck and focused on the next opponent.
Mike, how is Terrell feeling, and what do you expect from him this week in terms of his involvement?
I'd say he's feeling better. I think that we'll probably be operating under the same premise. I mean, Terrell's around. I just, want to try to get some continuity, and with the situation probably being fluid, we'll stick to the same plan kind of that we had last week. He'll just be more involved. I just want to make sure that we're not in and out and in and out. That's all.
Any update on Christian?
Would expect him to do some stuff today at practice.
Mike, on Sunday, Travion had 3 holding calls. Do you plan on working with him this week a little extra with technique to try to minimize that trying to happen again?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, of course. And we believe, in Travion's ability to protect him. That's one thing that we think that he can do. And I think if you asked Antonio would probably be as much at fault as the one on the kickoff return. I mean, I don't think you can really bounce the ball out when we're kicking somebody out by the sideline. So that one I'll give him a pass on. The other ones we just have to make sure we keep our head up, stay square, and be able to move our feet and not let them beat our feet and grab them. So, 2's too many. So we'll just keep working on it.
If Christian is doing stuff in practice today, does that leave Sunday a possibility for him?
Sure.
Mike, one of the things we have to do when we're talking about injuries is we're not supposed to speculate, but everybody speculates. You as coach, you say how long it's going to be. We as media do that. When something is imagined to take a shorter time and it takes longer, and I remember Bill talking about this. We don't talk about timelines because we don't want to overestimate around this. But is it hard for a player to not have his injury understood by the public?
I don't know. I certainly, nobody, I guess if everybody's looking for somebody to blame, and I'm not, I'd try to just get them back as soon as they can get back and make sure that they're staying engaged. And then, we have to decide how long that's going to be. Is there short-term IR, all these different things that come into it. But everybody wants to blame if it's not in some window that the doctor on Twitter suggests or recommends. Again, having had numerous injuries, they all recover differently, and had players that have recovered, differently. And it's like, well, why did one injury take this long? And is it, the player not working hard to come back? Is it the trainer's fault? Is it this person's fault? I've said this: the injury rate in the Professional Football League is 100%. If you play this game long enough, you are guaranteed to get injured. I don't think you can avoid that. I think it's just how you handle it, and kind of go from there.
It just doesn't help you guys to put it out there how long somebody's going to be out. But if
why? Because it could be shorter or it could be longer, and then when it doesn't meet the timeline, then somebody's going to come back and say, well, you said it was going to be 2 weeks. I don't know. So instead of being wrong every single time, I choose to just try not to say a timeline. And if they are back in a week, then great. If it takes a couple weeks, and there we are. And that's go for everything.
From a player's perspective, you're like, holy crap, people are starting to think it's taken too long. I wish I could tell people what's wrong with me so that they would understand.
And I think that's great in this case, maybe, but then it's going to be the next thing and the next thing. Like you're going to write, you got all pads and recorders, you're going to write whatever you want to write. They're going to think whatever they want to think. I think to that end, where would you stop? Where would you stop?
When you went back and watched the film, I'm curious what you saw in like the missed tackles. You would kind of.
We'll have to tackle much better. We'll have to tackle Warren, Jonnu, Metcalf, Austin. So that's the focus. That'll be a critical part of this game plan. Those guys are great with the ball in their hand. They run very hard. They're skilled. They're big, and present a challenge.
You faced Aaron Rodgers twice when you were in Tennessee. What's the challenge of facing him? And does he still look like the same Aaron Rodgers that you saw?
I think the ball can go. When you see him extend the play to the right and throw it down 60 yards or whatever that was, his operation is excellent. His ability to find relief throws and plays that aren't that he doesn't think will be positive plays. He finds relief throws. It'd be a great challenge to be able to find ways to affect them.
I just have one last follow-up.
How much of what they're doing is Arthur's offense versus how much of this is what Aaron has sort of brought with him from Green Bay to New York and now Pittsburgh?
Well, I think Arthur's done things with multiple quarterbacks. Is he doing what he did with Ritter where they're running zone read? No, but there's also other elements that he's done a lot of, and Aaron, having played quarterback as long as he has, is going to have things that he likes, and so I'd say it's a blend.
Mike, I just have one last follow-up with Christian. Some players are itching to get back maybe even too early based on the injury. How's his mindset been?
I don't know. The locker room will be open in 5 minutes. You'll be able to ask him. I'm not going to speak for his mindset.
Mike, you guys?
Yeah, if you ask me about anybody's mindset right now, I'd say you just feel free to ask them. They'll tell you exactly what their mind's thinking.
Mike, with Drake Bay, what have you learned about him when it comes to motivation? And what's everyone is wired differently.
Do we really think that we can motivate? Really? We're trying to inspire them. I think they're all motivated. They're professional athletes, and if they're motivated by championships, that's really great. If they're motivated in college because they want to date the cheerleader, even better. If they're motivated to earn a starting job, I just think that thinking that we have to motivate them. I want to inspire them and give them confidence and trust that they can go out there and do their job. I think that's the.
So with the player's personality, do you have to approach each one differently?
Well, yeah, we do that all the way. Whether we're teaching them, whether we're trying to inspire them, make a connection with them. I think you just have to know the audience and know who they are. Again, we've talked about having different personalities and trying to have one mindset and one mentality. So, I think he's personally motivated, and I think he's earning a lot of confidence, and I think just the decisiveness and the ability to perform and seeing these things translate from the first week to the second week was really good.
You guys had some more success in the ground game last week, but there were still some inconsistencies. It seemed like maybe specifically with some outside zone stuff. I'm curious, what do you feel like you guys did better, and what can you do to improve this week with some of those issues?
Well, we'll just have to, handle the front, handle movement. It's never going to be great. Almost average 5 yards a carry. We'll try to improve on that and kind of keep the scheme multiple.
I saw you give a team ball to Andy Cornellis and kind of saying, never lost the faith in you. Why was that so important to just highlight him after that game?
Well, we play a lot of rookies, and, that one in particular, when there's a missed combination block other than Taylor, I don't think anybody else is going to notice. But when you miss a kick, everybody notices, and if the receiver lines up in a wrong spot and nobody notices, if an offensive lineman false starts, the entire stadium and everybody watching is, So again, I just think that's a job that I wanted to recognize, him going out there, and it's a huge kick, the difference between 3 and 6, and situations change really quick. I'm sure in his mind he's like, oh, we're going for it, I'm off, and then all of a sudden we're kicking. So to me that's pretty cool.
Mike, doing a story at Zach Core. To the best I can tell, when you hired him in Tennessee, all of his experience was on the offensive side of the ball. Why did you put him on defense, and why did you think he could handle that?
Just because I thought his we talked about some of these trends from college coming, and, nobody watches more defense than offensive coordinators. But, he learned what we were doing. He brought other ideas and then helped us, bridge the gap with some of those trends that were coming from college. And kind of what they were thinking. Again, was heavily involved and did our red zone stuff in Tennessee and really grew exponentially as a defensive football coach.
Mike, what's your final question? You get a lead like you did in Miami, you can run whatever offense that you want, but it seemed like the marriage between run and pass was really strong there. Is that something that was that's best for us against the Dolphins defense, or something that speaks to an identity?
It'll have to be the same thing this week. You know what I mean? I'm going to really struggle going forward if on Wednesdays we're reviewing the game. We do that on Monday, and we got a tough challenge. Pittsburgh has got veterans, they got athletes, linebackers are fast. T.J. Watt's going to be an issue. Herbig have always had a lot of respect for his game. Cam Hayward will push the pocket back in the middle, and then you never know where Jalen Ramsey's going to be a corner, he's going to be a nickel, he's going to be a safety. So it'll be a huge challenge. Thanks, guys.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Some of the content of Patriots. And now, great moments in history.
By the way, you got to bring your car in to get the tires put on, but you can buy them online.
Speaking of
You got to get some of those.
I have Firestones. I thought those were supposed to be good.
Nope.
Well, Bridgestone.
I guess
Bridgestone.
so.
Wrong stone.
Upgrade.
Bridge, fire. No.
So I got my inspection yesterday.
You got through?
Wait, how late were you?
It's like
That's what Paul
That's not
calls
even bad.
his annual physical.
shady, the shady gas station where
took care of me.
Yeah, come on in.
Took care of me. Guy even offered me a slice of pizza. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, oil all over it.
No,
Was
I
the
just
check
because
engine
I
light
got
on
out
or
of
off?
Felger Maz yesterday, and my engine light was off. Probably the first
Good time to strike.
First time in at least 3 weeks. So I said to myself,
Paul treats his car like his body.
I'm trying. No, 'cause I know what the light's on for.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered.
That must have been a long time ago because I haven't had an inspection in a long time.
Or a physical. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. We just heard Mike Vrabel. No big news today.
A little bit.
Okay.
Christian
Correct me.
Gonzalez is going to be at the practice field, he said. Did we expect to see him out there today?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought someone says if he's out there, would you?
No, he said expect to see. We expect him to do some things today at practice. I think he said.
Okay, all right, good.
And then the follow-up, a couple questions later, was if he's assuming he's out there at practice. Does that mean that he would have a chance on Sunday? And he said sure.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it was a little dismissive.
You're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, I guess so. But
it's
that's
better
good.
than last week. There was no chance last week.
Absolutely, it's progress. So let's cross our fingers because we need
a little bit of an edgy mic today.
A little bit.
I thought he cut off a couple of questions, not confrontational per se.
Not suffering fools. Paul.
Yeah, but a little edgy. Yeah. A little edgy. I mean, I like that. I like.
He was
like edgy Mike.
He was like 5 minutes late, so maybe
I wonder if there's something going on.
Yeah.
He did mention in terms of just news, just catching up. The news. He was asked about Terrell Williams again, and just I think he indicated that they would kind of go with what they. It's a fluid situation, I think he said, and we'll go with the same plan that we had last week. So I would expect Zach Core to be the defensive play caller again, and them to set things up the way they did last week. But Williams is here. Not exactly sure in what capacity he'll be helping out.
But I'm totally with him on his philosophy for not talking about timelines for injuries.
Most coaches would agree with that.
You can't win. But I remember George Seifert when he was with the Panthers, he would trot out the team doctor, and the team doctor would be giving you all that stuff. And I was like, what are they doing over there in Carolina?
Yeah, that's a different argument. There's teams that do that. Like Andy Reid does that. Yeah. Mike Tomlin has done that.
But everybody heals differently.
But they don't necessarily the timetable, the timeline is not necessarily something they all get into. But they'll I've seen Mike Tomlin start a press conference with Joey Porter has got a hamstring. Deshaun Elliott's dealing with a sprained MCL, and Alex Highsmith's got a high ankle sprain. I've seen him do that.
Yeah. But that falls short of, and we expect him back in 5 weeks.
I don't think he necessarily. I mean, I don't watch all Pittsburgh press conferences, but I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike Tomlin is then saying we expect him to be out for 8 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm just kind of pointing out that doesn't necessarily mean you can't win games.
Yeah.
Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin have won a lot of games in the NFL, and they've given a lot of injury information over the years.
Darius in Louisville says, of course, he's mad at me. He says, of course the defense is better. They have better players. But Gerard Mayo could coach the same exact results as we are seeing now. Yes, Vrabel is a better coach, but don't blame / credit the talent of the players entirely on the coach. Did I do that?
I don't think you did that.
No.
I would love to jump in. I would love to
And
pile
I also
on.
said the results so far, I can understand where somebody would say that, but it's my prediction, my belief that given the players on this team, you will see a better defense in time than we had last year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
That is all you said. And I would expect things to get better, too. I mean, it's been a tough start to the season. I mean, they're down in the 30s in a lot of categories. It's been a tough start to the season. And they haven't exactly played, offensive juggernauts. Both teams that they played, as I mentioned yesterday, were completely shut down in their other game.
Yeah.
Especially the Raiders. Whew.
As you can see, Deuce has gone.
Sit down with some defensive players, maybe a heart-to-heart with Robert Spillane, because I know that Deuce is hurting.
And of course,
I know Diggs.
Yeah,
Stephon
I know
Diggs.
a lot of you are on the edge of your seat waiting to hear from Diggs on the latest announcement by, I guess, his girlfriend, Cardi B. I'm not sure.
So you just
She said they were broken up.
He said that she's my boyfriend.
Right, but at one time she took all the stuff off her Instagram.
Yeah, but I don't think she said that they were broken up. I think that there was
whatever.
The public,
So,
but you seem to be calling into question this whole relationship. I'm not.
I think it's volatile.
Well, I absolutely think when you have famous people are often in volatile relationships.
I think it's volatile.
Entertainers, athletes.
It's not like Drew and Maura, right? It's what It's not Drew and Maura.
Yeah, well, only one of those people were famous. But I think entertainers and athletes would, to me, kind of lend itself to a volatile
Jimmy
kind
Connors
of
and Chris Everett.
Yeah, volatile. Right?
Steffi Graf and who did she go out with? Did she go out with Agassi?
Andre Agassi. I mean, did you go out with or marry?
Oh, they got married? Oh, they're still
They
married.
are married.
Those kids have made it.
Yeah.
Those kids have made it.
Andre Agassi originally with Brooke Shields.
Right.
They were married.
That's it. Yeah, Brooke Shields. All right, back to the phones we go.
I just like how you just, I don't know. They say that that they're together, but I don't. Fred's not buying it.
Well, I can't.
Not buying the
I don't know
relationship.
what to believe these days. Sean's in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
Sean.
Hey, Fred, we've got to give you props for guaranteeing the win. That was amazing. That worked. I hope you could do it some more. We need that.
If I believe it, I'll say it. If I don't, then I won't.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping you believe that coming up soon, and then we'll get some more wins. I also wanted to ask about the sacks. I know the defense hasn't been playing great, had some issues, but it's early. However, the Patriots lead the league with 9 sacks. Do you think they'll get 4 or 5 against Rodgers this week? And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sean. What's the average now? I think he had 4. He was sacked how many times last week? 4 or 6?
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I would expect to see the sack total continue to rise. He's a guy. I think Evan's stat about the pressure rate is eye-opening. Like, that means he's getting good protection and still getting sacked a lot because every time the other team gets through, they sack him.
Yeah.
They're like over 30% sack rate is very high.
Like,
but I would expect the Patriots to get at least 3.
Well, tell me how good the Patriots offense is going to be, and then I'll tell you how many times they're going to sack them. Because if we can get out to a lead and we're forcing them to pass, then yeah, we're gonna be all over them. But if it's a close game and they can be balanced, Pittsburgh, then our opportunities aren't going to be that much.
I mean, that's a good point. Like the game script often helps in that regard. But I would also say, does Pittsburgh's offense have any success at all, like running the ball? And do they stay out of long yarded situations?
Right.
Because this is funny. I never got to get into it with Evan, but because I heard his buddy Alex this morning on Toucher and Hardy saying that you don't really want to blitz Rodgers. That's really playing with fire. My thought was, yes, I know that he has obviously seen every defensive coverage that you're going to come up with. He's seen it, but I don't think he can avoid pressure anymore.
Right.
So if you blitz him and you get home, you're probably going to, pull the plug on the play.
And how good is his receiving core?
I mean, I think they have good enough receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, DK Metcalf's a good receiver, and Calvin Austin, is okay.
Yeah.
The 2 tight ends, I think, are really good. And they have backs that can catch the ball. I think he has options and to throw to. But I would go after him a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily blitz like they did against the Raiders in the first game, where they had that high of a blitz rate. But I wouldn't sit back like they did for the most part against Tua either.
Yeah.
I would want to get after him. And it's interesting to me that the catch-22 guys have coming at this from opposite viewpoints.
It's so funny. It's talk about, having the feel for the league. It's so often you have to figure out, is what you're seeing an anomaly with Pittsburgh, or is this who they are and they've got problems? And when it's early in the season, it's really tough to tell because teams turn it around.
Yeah, their offense hasn't been bad though.
But this might be who Pittsburgh is defensively.
Defensively, we could just be sort of seeing the beginning of the end of that defense. A little bit older, and maybe guys aren't quite as good. Patrick Queen's been around a while. T.J. Watt's no spring chicken anymore. Cam Hayward. Yeah. So maybe some of their better players are getting a little older, and this is the start of a decline. Yeah. Absolutely.
And we talk about Rodgers. Maybe this is it for him too, because remember that last year with Brady, he had a good numbers year, but like he was getting hit a lot.
Oh, Rodgers, I think is done.
Yeah.
Like he was terrible last year.
We talked about last year when they played us early in the season, and Rodgers was the old Rodgers.
That was his one good game of the year.
Was that week 3 or 2 or something like that?
Week 3.
Week 3.
Yeah, ironically, the same week as this.
And he really didn't do it after that. maybe that was his last hurrah. Maybe.
Yeah, and I know he had some good statistical games, especially down the stretch last year. I just don't think he played very well.
Yeah.
I know that the numbers would tell you he was great. I don't think he played great in those games.
Let's go to Kendall in North Carolina. Hey, Kendall.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
I don't really have a question, just a statement. I'm kind of with Fred, man. Can we finally get a home win? It's been forever since we won at home.
I know.
So that's all I really want to say.
Okay.
What do you guys think we have to do to win at home?
Score more points than the opposition. No, I'm only kidding, Kendall. But I hear you, man. It's like.
No, they haven't had a lot of success. I mean, they won the last home game, but that kind of didn't count, against Buffalo last year. But
they absolutely didn't.
I mean, the whole home road, they haven't won a lot of games.
Thanks, Kendall. True. But even beyond last year, going back a few years, our home record.
Because they haven't won anywhere, is what I'm trying to say.
I know. We need home game wins. Good for everybody. Let's see. Jamie in Carlow, Ireland. I've been a listener since 2012, mainly through podcasts while on the way to school. One of my favorite memories was Andy arguing with no one that Tom Brady is better than Manning because he has bigger hands, and I was hooked. I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. My girlfriend got admitted to the hospital on the 1st due to complications with her pregnancy, and I'm happy to say that on the 4th, she gave birth to our first child, a healthy boy. Well,
nice.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
We were there for 2 weeks, and between the 3 shows, Catch 22, pre and post game, and PU, you guys helped me cope with the stress and anxiety. Well,
glad we could help.
Yeah. We're there for you.
And best to you and your new family.
Yeah.
That's
we're
awesome.
There. We're there for you. Joel in San Antonio writes in. I'm listening on a bit of a delay, so if this has been asked before, I apologize. I was wondering that if Gonzo misses the next game as well, if it wouldn't have been easier to put him on IR for the first 4 weeks and be able to elevate or being another defensive back for the time being. Just curious. I think if they knew that, they would.
Well, if he, let's put it this way. If he didn't play against Pittsburgh and then he comes back and he's sort of 50-50 questionable against Carolina, that's certainly a worthy second guess. I think it's worth it because even if you could get him for the Carolina game, he's a good enough player that I'll sit him out for 3 weeks without having a guarantee that he has to sit out for 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a good enough player to do that for.
Michael in Nebraska has 2 questions. Says, if Gonzo comes back soon and has an amazing year, would you ever consider trading him due to his 1, injury history, only 4 games his rookie year, 16 last year, and now his current injury? 2, his trade value may be at an all-time high. And 3, he may want to get paid a substantial amount this offseason.
So this is funny. This is suddenly on my shows yesterday. Yeah. It was Beetle and Zoe, I think, who brought it up. And then Mike and Tony sort of, piggybacked on it. Trading Gonzalez, and everybody's like, well, I think they asked Mike Reese. I think Beetle and Zoe asked Mike Reese, would you trade Gonzalez for a first-round pick? Mike said no. I would be interested in something more along the lines of an established player. And what Mike and Tony brought up was A.J. Brown in Philadelphia, who has been kind of a bit player in the first couple of games for the Eagles. He's only 28, not that old. So still theoretically has some productive years left in him. I don't know why Philadelphia would want to do that, but just play along in the hypothetical here.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, see, we talked about I wouldn't at this point. I haven't given up on Gonzo as, one of those injury-plagued players yet. So I don't think that, to me, I haven't put him in that category yet. 2, in my opinion, in the NFL, it's a lot easier to get a really good receiver than a real good cornerback. I think there are a lot more good receivers in the NFL than there are shutdown corners.
So I would, and we talked about this off air a little bit, and I would agree with Freddie's assessment there. I think there are probably more elite receivers in the league than there are elite corners. I don't think it's much easier, but I think you're right. I would be interested in that trade. I'm not sure you could get A.J. Brown straight up for Christian Gonzalez. But if that, again, we're doing hypotheticals here. I would have to think about that. I think that would be the kind of piece offensively that could put your passing game in a different stratosphere.
Yeah.
I would. Now, I'm not giving up on Gonzalez because I'm convinced that he's an injury-prone guy or whatever. I'm just wondering if I might find something more valuable for my team.
Right. I don't think there's anything more valuable other than a quarterback than a true shutdown corner.
Yeah, see, I disagree. I think there's a lot of teams that win a lot of games without true shutdown corners. I don't know if you can do it without having, some offensive firepower.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's a great argument.
Yeah.
It's a great debate. And I know I just opened myself up to all kinds of criticism. I'm sure there are teams that have won without. It's like, the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons.
Right.
Let's go back to like this elite player getting traded thing. Did you remember what happened in the immediate aftermath of the Micah Parsons trade? You know what you don't need to win titles. You know what never wins titles? Elite edge guys. Yeah. Suddenly, you don't need an elite edge guy because those guys never win. I'm like, I don't care what position they play. Did the Eagles not dominate the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year with their pass rush?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if it came from Milton Williams and whoever. I don't care if Josh Sweat isn't
you
your
don't think
idea.
Aaron Donald helped the Rams?
Yeah, I mean, those guys were dominant. Chris Jones was dominant for the Chiefs in their back-to-back titles. Again, I'm getting off track. I don't know if, who was the dominant shutdown corner for the Eagles last year?
I don't know.
Because they didn't really have one. They had really, really good defense with a lot of good players. Cooper DeJean was really good in the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying you have to
Darius
have one.
Slay's been a good player.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to have a dominant shutdown in order to win. But if you have a dominant shutdown corner, it makes life a lot easier. It does, because you can put them on their best guy.
But you know what? But you know what makes it a lot easier? And you're right. Everything you just said is I agree with.
Yeah.
I just think having dominant players, regardless of position, I don't think having a dominant corner helps you any more than having a dominant.
But it's harder to find those guys, and I don't know. They just seem to be very
agree with you.
Few and far between. True shutdown.
Yeah, I think
good corners, but I'm talking, the real guy, the real shutdown.
Yeah, because you can go
player.
like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and those kinds of receivers, and you can say CeeDee Lamb,
right?
The truly dominant receivers, and you can say, I could probably keep going into 10, 15 range. Whereas with corner, to your point, it's Patrick Surtain and Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner and Gonzo, and you kind of start running out.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way. So I do think that you make a good point about it being harder to get a corner. I just don't think it's any more valuable to have that than anything else. If you have a dominant player, you have a dominant player. My feeling would be I think A.J. Brown's a better player than Christian Gonzalez.
I remember 2014, and he was far from his prime. We brought in Revis, and he was.
I have a different.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, I have a different whole. I think. How would that have been without the offense that they had?
I'm just saying it put them over the top.
Did Darrelle Revis?
They hadn't won for 10 years.
Did Darrelle? See, that's I don't think that put him over the top.
I don't know.
I think Tom Brady did. I think Tom Brady's kicking the ass from Jimmy Garoppolo put them over the top. And I think that I don't think Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner, led a 14-point comeback in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl.
If you remember back then in that era, 2009, 10.
Yeah, their defense was better in 14. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, again, on paper, facts are facts. It's like Felger facts. They had defenses that were good. They had an offense that was good enough to get to the Super Bowl, but the defense wasn't good enough for them to win it.
Right.
And then in 14, they brought in Browner and they brought in Revis, and the defense improved, and they were good enough to win it.
Yep.
I can't argue with that. That's fact. But I think Brady was just that much better, and that's why they won the Super Bowl.
Could be. The other question Mike in Nebraska had is, why do you think Kyle Williams only played 7 snaps against the Raiders and 10 against the Dolphins? Is he just not good enough yet, or are they waiting for something? It's starting to feel like another Poke Baker situation. and I hope it doesn't turn out that way. I just think it's a numbers game at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't been that good where he's pushing people out of the way.
I think it's the opposite of Polk. Polk played virtually every play at this time last year and just wasn't productive with it, whereas Williams, I think, is biding his time and waiting for his opportunities. And I think Mike is right about some of the things that they sort of tried with him a little bit in this game. Right now, he's the fifth receiver. So the fifth receiver is not going to get a ton of snaps. But I would also say there's a lot of teams that the fifth receiver who doesn't play special teams wouldn't even be dressed. So they must really like Kyle Williams, and they must see some potential in him that they want to have him part of the game day roster, even as a small role, and they feel like he's developing. I still have some faith there. I think there's something there with Kyle Williams.
Paul in the Colony, with Burrow going down, it seems like the Bengals will try to unload some of their big salaries this year.
I don't see that
Hendrickson and
happening.
Higgins seem like obvious choices, but are there others on the team that we could be for sale?
I don't see that happening.
We could poach.
I think that they'll look at this and say we can tread water, and we can with their 2-0, which they have not been ever in this Zach Taylor regime, right?
Yeah.
I think that they'll look to win games with Jake Browning like they did 2 years ago in Burrow's absence, and see if they can, find a way to, win enough games to make it worthwhile for Burrow to come back at the end of the year.
Right.
I don't know if that is realistic. I don't know, but I think it's definitely realistic that they can win games without Burrow. They've done it before.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I think they went 4-3 without Burrow.
Yeah. I feel bad.
So if you go 4-3 in the next 7 right now, you're 6-3.
I feel bad for Burrow, but it couldn't happen to a better team.
No, but do you understand what my point is? Your snark aside, which don't get me wrong, I'm here for the snark. I believe they went 4-3 2 years ago with Browning as the quarterback. Let's say they go 4-3 in the next 7 games. So now you're, like I said, you're 6-3 around the trade deadline. Are you selling off pieces?
Yeah. Right.
Or are you saying, no, we can go 4-3 in the next 7 games, and then maybe Burrow's back?
Exactly. Yeah. So you only do that if you don't think you get.
Yeah, I mean, if they go out and instead of going 4-3, they go 2-5, then maybe you're selling off a piece. But I think they went in for this year, and I think they got to see it through.
Cole writes in, do we take into consideration at all the history of success the Patriots have had against the Steelers heading into this game, especially considering McDaniels is going to know exactly how to attack this defense, assuming it's the same old Pittsburgh defense? If so, should we expect a monster game from the tight ends? Our tight ends.
Yeah, no, I know what he meant. He's thinking of Gronk. I would ask what would constitute a monster game from Hunter Henry?
2 touchdowns, 80 yards, 2 tutties.
I mean, sure, maybe. I mean, I'm just thinking, we're thinking of Rob Gronkowski, 10 for 130 and 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. And, I know last week, so, I'm going to be called a hypocrite here. We talked all about the Miami history and going down there and how hard it is to win no matter who the team is, and 0-7 against Tua. So we took history into consideration there, but I'm less apt to do that this week with Pittsburgh.
So I would be less apt too, because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
It's not Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger, right.
It's not the same Steelers team. And, with the Dolphins, it was Tua and Waddle and Hill and 8 of the same guys for the most part that you were going against. So I think there was a little bit more reason to look at the history with Miami than you would this year. But I do have faith in the Patriots' recent success with Pittsburgh. I think that's relevant. And specifically what the emailer talked about. Josh McDaniels has had a lot of success going against the Steelers' defense.
Martin out of Kansas. Personally, I view the Steelers as the Cowboys of the AFC North. The mainstream sports media, not you guys, hypes them up every year, yet they're just a speed bump for any team facing them in the first round of the playoffs. As Paul said earlier, on paper, they should play better than they have. I see Drake May having yet another best career game with our King Ghidorah type running back room dominating the Steelers defense. I don't know what King Ghidorah means. Ghidorah. It's a Godzilla thing. Okay. Oh,
all right. 3-headed.
Is that Ghidorah? I thought that was Rodan. Oh, Gira. Is that how you spell it? Okay.
Well, now it makes sense because they have the 3-headed monster.
Yeah,
Okay, good reference.
Okay, good. The Patriots defense having Rodgers run for his life all game, throwing 2+ interceptions. Patriots 48, Steelers 23.
Well, if Rodgers is throwing interceptions, then I could see that happening. I don't see Rodgers throwing interceptions. He doesn't really do that. He does. I mean, he has. Do you know he has the best interception rate in the history of the NFL?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like he didn't even throw a lot of interceptions last year when he stunk.
Right.
So I wouldn't.
Because he throws it out of bounds.
Well, whatever. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
He gives up. Doesn't try.
Maybe. I don't think he tried very hard last year. I kind of agree. I know you're trying to get me involved in an argument. You're not going to. I think nothing. Like I couldn't think less of his professionalism.
Yeah. I wouldn't throw interceptions either if I didn't try. Dan in Virginia and Michigan. I don't like Rodgers or the Steelers at all. It would be the most Jets thing, however, if Rodgers did well this year and the 2 years of his lowest production were the 2 years he was with the Jets. There was some discussion yesterday about naming the win against Miami. How about marvelous mess in Miami? If you want to really amp up the ridiculousness in alliteration, it could be the marvelous mess in Miami that made May a man. No, I think it's the Vrabel kickoff game.
I like the Vrabel kick return.
Yeah. So
Vrabel return game.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I was laughing though.
You could say it's the May coming out game, but it wasn't a last second win.
So I'm gonna button hook you. You know why I don't want to go with that? Because I think we're going to be looking at games like this as like pedestrian for him.
Like and it wasn't like him winning it in the last second.
No. Yeah. Then I would say it was a coming out party.
Right.
But I think you're going to be looking at games like he had on Sunday as pedestrian. Like he wasn't asked to do a whole lot,
right?
And he handled it fine. Yeah. But man, when he's really locked in and he's
the coming out game will be
4 touchdowns and running around, making plays. Yeah. That's the coming out party.
Mike in the OC, not sure if you've addressed Tom Brady wearing the coaching headset and assisting Chip Kelly in the Raiders offense. Wanted to get your thoughts on him, if being a broadcaster truly gives him and the Raiders an advantage. In any case, I'm still upset he's in his position with the Raiders. The Patriots organization has done an amazing job rehabbing the relationship with Brady after the split and honoring his legacy the best way possible. Just wish we had him in our coaching personnel office, similar to Elway with the Broncos. So, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before. The big deal isn't that he's an owner of a team anywhere on the field. The owners can do whatever they want. It's that he's a broadcaster for Fox doing other teams' games.
Right.
That's where the conflict comes in. So
yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it's an enormous conflict of interest, and it's an advantage for them. So he's not allowed to go to practice, right? He's not allowed in the other team's facility, right? That's the way they have it. His broadcast partner is going to practice on Friday. You don't think he's telling him everything he saw at practice on Friday?
Right.
And you don't think, and this is a league where teams go through unbelievable lengths to find any and all information that might help them win a game.
Right.
You don't think that potentially helps the Raiders win a game?
Right.
Him knowing what, I think someone said that they have like Chicago this week, and then next week they play, whoever they play, it doesn't matter. They have a team this week for Fox that the Raiders are playing the following week. You don't think that could help him?
Right. Right.
And I'm listening on one of my other shows. That means EEI, not the Sports Hub. This morning, and they're really downplaying it. Wiggy was the only one who thought it was relevant. And they're really downplaying it. And I'm like, Well, what's to stop him from calling up? Like, he's got a million friends. You know, Wes Welker's on the coaching staff in Washington. What's to stop him from talking to Wes Welker about the Commanders? And I'm thinking to myself, what's to stop him? Wes Welker knows that he's the owner of the Raiders.
Right.
That's what would stop him. He's not going to be forthcoming with him.
Right.
Oh, geez, you know, you should see our third down package this week, Tom. And we're going to use it against the Raiders, too.
Right.
Like, that's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. He is.
Like, I think it's an enormous edge for no reason. I think, much like everybody else in this, I think he needs to pick a lane. And I think he should be forced to pick a lane. You're either an announcer or you're a part owner. I have no problem with him being in the coach's booth with headsets. Owners do that all the time. I mean, ours doesn't. But a lot of owners around the league they just love what's the woman's name? Ursay's daughter.
Yeah.
And she's been doing it for years.
Yep, Carly or something. Yeah.
Yeah, she just has the headsets on. I don't think she has input. She just wants to listen.
She's on the sideline.
And she's on the sideline listening to what the coaches are saying. Like, that's you own the team. That's your prerogative. You should be able to do any and all of that kind of stuff.
Would you do that if you were the owner?
I wouldn't mind listening if I was the owner. Yeah. But I would make it clear. I'm not listening so I'm like trying to keep tabs on you. I'm genuinely interested.
Yeah, I'd do it from the owner's booth though. I'd have like.
However it could be done, and I would also try to do it as inconspicuously as I could, maybe with like earbuds or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
IFB.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I couldn't believe the NFL wasted time putting out a statement explaining how it's within the rules for an owner to be listening to. Of course it is. It's the owner. That's not the issue here. The issue here is the owner is also a broadcaster.
Right.
I have another pet peeve you probably won't like.
Brady related or no?
No, just in general. Like, just because the networks spend billions of dollars, we have to have these fakakta broadcast meetings.
You mean production meetings?
Yeah. Like, why?
You don't like it?
No.
You don't think they should get some background so they come into the game a little bit more informed for the fans?
No.
No?
No, I don't. I don't think they should. I don't think they should be privy to anything behind the scenes. And I know why. Obviously, it's money. Yeah. All the money. They pay that much money. They got to get something in return. I understand that. You know, the media is here every day. Like, they're covering your team. They're promoting your product just as much as the networks are.
Yep.
They don't get that access.
Right.
And I'm not talking about us individually. I'm just talking, like the Boston Globe.
Well, I'm sure if Clintus paid $1 billion, they'd get that.
Right,
access.
but that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be about. You shouldn't just pay for your access. I don't think it's right.
Welcome to America.
I know. Like I'm not naive. I just don't like it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand why it happens.
Yeah,
but
it's an age-old tradition. I mean, even before $1 billion deals, they would have been having production meetings.
But I could understand, like, in the day, they needed the broadcast partners to promote their product.
Right.
You know, it's different now.
I remember, speaking of Bill Parcells, back when he was the coach and Don Lowry was our PR guy. This is before Stacey James even. I said to Don, hey, Don, can you ask Parcells if I can sit on the the production meeting with NBC? Like, he's not gonna. I just ask him. So he comes back the next day. He said, what did he say? He said, tell Fred he's not NBC.
So, that's a great story. But it kind of lends. No. But it lends it to what I'm talking about.
Right.
Obviously, the coaches weren't real happy with it. They didn't want other people in their privy. Like, if we have to do it for NBC, I guess we have to do it. Like, they don't want to do that.
Right.
They don't want to give that information away. So when people say, "Well, why is it such a big deal that Tom Brady?" That's the coaches don't. The coaches think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Or at least Parcells did.
Yep. And a lot of times, you would. I would imagine some coaches use those production meetings to help them get something out there. Like, they tell something that they're hoping the broadcasters will repeat on air.
Like, on that thing that I heard this morning, I think they had a clip from Jimmy Johnson talking about, like, those meetings are useless. There's never been anything that comes out of it. I used to not say anything about it. And I was like, well, that's great. That's what you did. You were able to do it that way. I think that it's also kind of interesting that he's downplaying it as a Fox guy. I know he retired, but he's a Fox guy.
Yeah.
And this is his network's broadcast team that is, in question. I just think it's disingenuous on Jimmy Johnson's part. In one regard, he's telling you how he didn't tell him anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me that there's nothing to be gleaned from going in the Friday practice but you didn't tell him anything.
Right.
Right? So what do you so you were hiding it is what you were doing.
Yeah.
I just think
speaking of telling teams things, the Steelers signed Peppers earlier and just yesterday announced that they had signed Juwan Bentley. Is there any information that those two guys can give the team that would help them against the Patriots? Or is Bentley too... Oh, wait a minute. We'll talk about my question later. Barreling right in.
What was it like in the locker room? Hey, Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
So, Mike, what was it like?
Today. Sorry, I'm a little late.
Crazy,
I wanted
really?
to get back sooner, but we had, of course, Stephon Diggs spoke, and then we had Christian Gonzalez, and we had AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, Antonio Gibson, as well. So all three of those guys was waiting for Antonio to get out of the shower so we could interview him. So that's why I'm a little later. Didn't get a chance to talk to Spillane or anybody on the defense. That was one of the things I wanted to do.
I know you wanted to have a heart-to-heart with your defensive mates.
No, none of that today. But we did talk to Diggs, and he seems saying all the right things, and just everybody theme of having a win and getting some confidence and trying to build off of that and trying to, keep the train rolling was kind of the general sentiment. Christian Gonzalez playing a little close to the vest, asked about, did you have a setback? And I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to be out there today. I'm going to focus on today, and, we'll see where I'm at the end of that. So, yeah, he didn't set any expectations or anything like that, so that's all good. And
so,
yeah,
what's the news?
The news is that he's going to practice today.
No, Diggs.
Oh, no news. What news?
They didn't talk about...
Oh, they asked him about that, about his, and he, I don't know, talking about private life. So he kind of shut it down. He didn't really, he didn't really talk.
Fred's not buying it.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think?
Well,
That's
calling the whole thing into question.
I just think it's,
he seemed generally confused.
A volatile situation.
Oh, he seemed generally confused when someone was like, so I forget exactly how they phrased it. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, and like, oh, the announcement. And he's like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't really talk about my personal life. So. Yeah, playing close to the vest.
Did Bob Sosi ask a question? So, Stephon, when you're with a woman and you both love each other.
Yeah, the birds and the bees. So yeah, that was kind of the vibe though in the locker room. Everybody getting ready to go out. Shells, no pads today.
Shells
and
today.
yeah, we'll see from Evan once. And I did find out where Evan was. He was conducting an interview with Bill O'Brien regarding a piece he was writing on Julien Edelman, who's being inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. So that's why he had to cut out on our first hour, talk to Billy O for a little bit. So there you go.
Was this an approved piece that he's writing?
I believe it is.
This something that he's doing on for his own blog.
His own blog? Does he have that?
Evan.com.
A lot of media. It sounded like it was a very crowded locker room.
Very crowded, and I don't know if you want my shoulders very tired. From holding the mics up, 98.5. I helped them out today. Mark Capella, held the mic. So, but it's like trying to hold a 2-pound weight for 5 minutes like this. It's kind of hard.
I don't like them, enlisting you.
Well, it was you scratch my back, I scratch yours, kind of thing. Because sometimes you get closed out. It's tight space. You can't get in there.
98.5, are you?
Capello comes over and he's like, I can't get in there. I'm
like, cut in on.
Mike. Like they're gonna be Mike shows someday. No. So all good. We all work together as a team, trying to get those interviews. So some good stuff today. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Gonzo, he talked. That's a good sign.
Yep. Right at that, I was actually reminiscing. You came up, Paul. I was talking to Mike Giardi. And we were talking about Stephon Gilmore and how he would. And I said, yeah, Paul always say people would be like, oh, he doesn't act like a number one corner. And Paul's like, that's just because you can't hear him. He's too quiet.
He did.
And the best cover corner in the football.
He would say stuff.
Right.
There's no way. Juju Smith-Schuster, he
same locker.
He can't get open.
Was Ty Law in that locker too, or anybody else in that right by the door, right there? I remember Steph being there.
Law was over there. I don't know if he was the end.
Yeah.
He might have been in the middle of that bank.
Yeah.
But he was on that. I mean, that's obviously where the
Revis
DBs
there?
are.
Right. That's not the
Revis
elite corner.
He may have been in that. I mean, it kind of goes by number.
Yeah.
So, all three of those guys were not Gonzalez, but Revis, Gilmore, and Law were all 24.
Right.
So they were in that general vicinity.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I got.
And then Mood was...
I think Good. Steph said he's like, you guys, maybe you couldn't tell last week, but you could feel like, the mood last week was definitely, a little bit more down. And, this week you have a little confidence built up. So, yeah, he said everybody's feeling good after that win. And I think feeling like, hey, let's go get a win at home. So also, too, the, you know how they have the nameplates up atop? They're all digital now. They were red for the throwback game this week. So I'd never seen it. There was just a red haze all up, very bright, very bright.
A little like Christopher Walken when you said that. Yeah. So red haze.
There was a red haze above me. I don't know. I found it a little bit much, but it was funny. One of the members of the media.
You know what I'm thinking about, right?
He took this watch in his. But one of the members of the media, it's clearly there's red everywhere. All the Patriots helmets are out, and then I heard one of the media guys, just one of the camera random guys, like, "Oh, are they wearing those white helmets this week?" Like, bro, it's a throwback week. Come on, get on our level.
Okay. So they will be in throwbacks this week.
They will be in throwbacks.
Okay.
Get ready. How are they against the Steelers in the throwbacks? Probably not too good in the 70s, I imagine.
I don't.
Big win in 76.
Yeah.
In throwbacks?
Right.
Not in throwbacks.
They were actually
that was the throwback.
They were just uniforms then.
Yeah.
Patriots.
There was somebody who wrote in and said he's coming first time for a game.
Well, Anthony in Seattle's coming.
Yeah, but anyway, he just wanted some info about Saturday's.
Saturday.
Yeah, so the info on Saturday for the induction is it starts at 4:00 in the Patriots Patriot Place Plaza below the stairs. I don't know the exact setup, but it's free of charge. So just show up. If you want to get close, I don't think it matters. They're going to have screens probably set up, so you'll be able to see wherever you're sitting. You can sit on the stairs. You can be anywhere. But if obviously the earlier you get there, the closer you'll be. And I would say 2:00 is when you probably want to get there if you really want to get close. But otherwise, just show up. And like I said, you don't have to pay. Parking's free. And it'll be a great event. It's going to be Bill Parcells and Julien Edelman starting at 4:00. I'm sure there'll be other speakers and video and all that. So that should be really good. So if you're in the area, check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Excited. Any people coming into town for these two guys, Fred, that we've heard
I don't
about?
know the guest list.
No?
Yeah.
I would assume Edelman's going to have a pretty good guest list. A lot of guys come out for him.
Yeah.
Be probably a pretty good party tomorrow. Saturday night, I imagine, too.
Yeah.
After
I wonder who thinks Scott Pioli will be here. Bill's son-in-law.
Right. Well, that's a great point.
Good chance.
That's a great
good chance.
Dallas.
You think some of the old writers will be coming back, Paul?
Well, that's what Matt and I were talking. Matty No Socks and I were talking about that today. Kevin Mannix, Ron Hobson, maybe Ron Borges, some of those guys. But I don't know. Does it lend itself to being able to really talk to Parcells? I don't know.
They loved him so much.
Yeah. I mean, he had a great relationship with Hobby. He was always very, very fun back and forth with Ron Hobson.
Yeah. Who the award is named after, correct?
Yeah. Good guy
award. The Media Good Guy Award.
Yeah.
Yep. You will not.
But he would have back and forth as a good guy?
Fun back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think
this is before me.
Unlike Belichick, who I really honestly think had disdain for the media, felt they were below him.
Most people generally, probably.
I think Parcells respected the media, especially the older guys.
Yeah.
They're kind of his kind of guys.
Yeah.
And he understood the job that they had to do. And I think the more crusty you were, I think the more he related to them.
Yeah.
Because he was a crusty guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe I'm just, because he's from that New Jersey, New York area.
That's one of the areas that Fred's from. So
yeah, he just got along with those types of guys better.
Yeah. Sure, like I don't know. I'm just picturing the old newspaper guys smoking cigarettes, typing away at the keyboard.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
That's what Parcells was. He was the guy smoking butts, and I'm excited to, like I said, I just get him back in the fold. Just see what he has to say, and how it kind of becomes full circle for that whole period. Which for me was really, I was a Patriots fan, but once Parcells came and Bledsoe, that was game on.
Same with me.
And that was pretty cool.
I was always a Patriots fan. I'm not going to pretend to have gotten on board, when they came. But when they came, that's when
Yeah.
Finally, we're like everybody else now. We're a legitimate franchise. And then Robert buys the team the next year. Here we go.
Here we go.
Right?
I remember, Parcells would always say, I don't pay attention to what they, And one day I'm in front of the stadium and he pulls up in his Cadillac and gets out of his car with a pile of Globe Heralds that he's throwing away that have been piling up in his car because he read everything.
Right.
And he saw me looking at him and he just kind of smiles. Like, you caught me. So
no PFWs in there?
Maybe. I don't know. All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. So we'll wrap it up. We'll do our picks. Any preview, Paul? How did the gang do?
So, this is a new sheriff. It's just Alex's world, and we're all living in it.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah. And I remain in the basement with the poop emojis.
Okay.
I'm having a tough start to the season.
Well, we'll go over it all tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.